Ooh, okay, so I have just sent over one of the revisions. I have the other one that is pretty much done. I'm waiting for, I guess, re-access to the Dropbox folder so I can get the assets added in that needs to be there, but otherwise that's done. But I am just like, oh my gosh, I'm super thankful, and I'm just kind of feeling, I don't know, it feels a little surreal. Like when I used to get up in the mornings and get ready for work, I am not like a happy camper, like at all. Not because I didn't like the mornings or anything like that, but just like I hated so much of just like the where I'm going, and just like people talking about the most ridiculous things that I don't care about. Like I don't want to know what somebody's kid did last night or whatever. Like I'm not that interested. And like it's one of the weirdest things is that I hated to say like good morning every single day to the same people every single day. Not because I didn't like them or anything like that. I mean, you obviously have people that you aren't super close with or whatever, but it was just like the whole thing, like, we're going to spend 40 hours, if not more, per week with each other every day until the foreseeable future, unless somebody quits. Hint, hint, being me. But like, that you're going to see each other every single day. Why do we need to keep saying good morning to each other, or how was last night, or like it's such an incremental amount of time difference? Like I don't care. I don't know. Is that just me? Is that weird? Maybe I was just in a bad, I can't even say I was in a bad mood because that was like every day. I just didn't like it. So I'm getting ready to go and have, I'm going to go for a ride with my parents and go out for lunch, hopefully. And I don't know, I just need to get out of the house for a minute. So I'm going to get out, go have lunch outside of the house for once this week, or twice this week, since yesterday I did and took lunch over to my parents. So today I'm going to do that since I pretty much have the revision done. I have one more that needs to be revised, which also won't take too long. But the thing with these micro edits is that they take longer than most people think, especially like depending on what one client wants versus another one and whatever. But revisions, thankfully, they don't take that long. I mean, my whole thing is like I was always upfront about who I was going to befriend for long term, maybe, or something. Like people like, hey, we should go out on the weekends, or let's go out for happy hours. Like for what? It's like I don't go out, and I said the places that I go out to is not really anything that none of y'all are really interested in. I said, which is fine. I said, but I ain't trying to make friends. I ain't trying to be rude, but ain't no point in me pretending. I really want to be around you. It's like not to be like, not there's anything wrong with you, but I don't want to be friends. We don't have a reason to communicate. Then it's like they figure out that you do talk to, or you're like, oh, you got her number? Like, yeah. It's like I ain't gotta lie about it. I ain't gonna try to hide. It ain't that special. Everybody loves Chick-fil-A.
They got chicken salads.
I think they got some anything chicken, just about.
Chicken ham hocks.
Chicken ham hocks, chicken bacon,
Like
chicken
Denise.
turkey, chicken.
So do they have turkey ham hocks? I said, Denise, what did you just say to me?
A turkey hock.
A turkey ain't supposed to have a hock.
She told me one day she was in the store and she was gonna get some turkey ribs. I said, I ain't got no turkey ribs. I said, what do you turkey breast? And she said, turkey ribs.
Oh, so it is almost 6 o'clock now, and I'm thankful I'm finally done with all of my client work for the day. After I got back from lunch with my mom and dad, which we had us a nice Chick-fil-A experience. So everybody always raves about Chick-fil-A. I've only gone into the inside once, and it just was like, meh, I didn't feel the Chick-fil-A magic that everybody talks about. And so they really experienced that today, as did I. But they just kept complimenting. It's like, man, this is service. This is great. This is what they used to do back in the day. And so it's like 10 minutes of what happened back in the day. And it was just funny. So it's nice to spend some time with them. One of the things that I'm reflecting on today because I'm starting to get in a little bit of pain. So I am going to call it good for today, get some rest, go to bed early, and just relax and just like, kind of hone in, get up super early tomorrow because I need to pitch for some new clients that I want to submit to on Upwork. So I'm testing that platform out, and I don't know, like they gave me the rising star thing, which is basically you haven't got a job on their platform yet, but you have enough work that suggests that you would be a good fit for as if you were whatever. So that promotes your profile out more and stuff like that. So it gives you a little badge. So that's cool. So thank you, Upwork, for that. But just kind of been really reflecting on today. This week was the week 4 years ago when I had massive surgery. And it was like one of those things where, some people will say, we could have died, or, the wind was so crazy, we could have died. But the difference is when it's a situation where you could have died and then one where you almost died. And so I've shared that story before, but it's just like coming back around and everything coming full circle. At the time I had, been working as a temp for, I think, about 2 years prior to that at the company that I just recently left. And they just weren't hiring anybody. They had been on, like, I guess, a pause with their temps for about a good 3.5 or so years, even just like prior to me being there. So I'm there for, 2.5 or so years. I think it's like 2 years at the time. Anyway, finally get hired on, and they were letting people go like flies, like just crazy. And so it's like right before Christmas, they called and they called a bunch of the temps, and it's just like you saw one person's phone after another, and they were just letting people go. And it's like, dang, y'all gonna do this right before the holidays? They're just like, whatever. And so I get this IM. So I'm always like, you're not finna get me. Like, I'm already packed up and ready to go. Like, you ain't gonna have nobody boxing my stuff up. Like, I'm already gonna be ready. So I get this IM from my supervisor at the time. He's like, hey, can you come to this conferencing area, which I call the first 48 room. And it's just like, I go in there, all these supervisors are around, and just like, and I'm like, oh, so y'all need everybody to fire me? Y'all need to bring everybody in here to fire me? Oh, so it's like that? Oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. So I'm nervous, but I'm still like being pleasant and all of that good stuff, because I'm like, regardless, that's what happened. You're always, happy for the opportunity and all that good stuff. But, I had been there for like 2 years, so you feel like a regular job. You're just waiting for positions to kind of like become open and available and whatever. So I sit down, and while they're firing everybody else, they offer me a job. And so I start, and I'm finally able to get off of like what they would call like Obamacare or whatever, because other than that I wouldn't have had coverage at all. And I know it's like everybody feels some kind of way about that, but whatever. And it was a situation where I could afford to have insurance, whereas otherwise I would have been just completely without. And so it was expensive, but whatever. So get hired on, get the job. I'm there for a couple months, like getting in until, and like as soon as like the sick leave and all that stuff kicked in, I had to have immediate an emergency surgery. I go in, and it's worse than what they thought, and they weren't really sure of what they were going to find as the issues and all that. And it wound up being like this whole huge thing where it's just like, hey, any little subtle move at that point or whatever, which I had just finished pushing. Me and my dad had just finished pushing my old car in the driveway and towing it, and like I had played tennis not that long before. I was in extreme pain, but I was doing stuff anyway because I'm like, I don't want to not have some kind of quality of life. I was trying to fight it, and it was just like at a point it was completely unbearable. And so it had been 16 months to the day. I had been just in excruciating pain every single day. And it's like, well, what's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? And it's like, it's a 12, or it's a 15. And that would be pretty good on a good day, because other than that, it feels like a 50, But it's just like the fact that like bringing everything like full circle. Like I said, it's been 4 years now, and it's just crazy to think that, it's as easy as it is to be here, it's easy to not be here too. But to be here now, every year has always been like every June, that first week in June, it's always just like, man, like it's really significant for me personally. And I always am extremely thankful that I got another chance at life. And it was at that point, after I had recovered for some time, it was around about this time the following year, because I just took like the rest of that year just to really just, you know, heal up and stuff like that, because I had to go to work 30 days later. I had no more PTO time left. I had nothing. Not even like short-term disability. All that stuff was like max. I had nothing. So I had to go to work still with stitches, barely walking, and all of that stuff because I just couldn't afford it. And so, like, you know, I had challenges from returning to work too early, and all of that. So whatever. But I'm alive, and I'm thankful, and I'm grateful. And I never take it for granted to be alive. You know, it's like before, you just kind of live by default. And I think that was like the biggest thing, is that you just live life by default, you know? And I'm grateful that I don't do that anymore. And that, like I said, by June 2016, I had hired my first business coach, like paid business coach, and started doing and learning what I would need to do to start my own coaching business. I was thinking like, oh, let me get real estate property and get a, you know, family unit and, you know, all of that stuff. So I was going to take that route. And I was like, you know what, I know a lot from being in business and, you know, learning a lot about business through network marketing and the time that it would take to set up a corporation and having a business set up for that at the time. I just was like, I want to do something with my life. It wasn't until I had talked to my sister, and like, she didn't think anything was wrong with me. So I have two sisters, one that I'm really close with, and then one that is just like, she was the mean big sister. But it wasn't until I had to explain to her that, you know, it's like, it was legit. Like, 1 minute you're here, another minute you're not. And it was like, what could be said of my life at that point? You know, it's like, you live a good life, you try to be a good person, but what are they gonna say? You know, you're a good auntie, it's funny, crack jokes or whatever, love white on white cake and coffee. You know, it's like, love nachos and Hawaiian punch. You know, it's just like, it's nothing to really say. What have I done with my life? And it's just like, I ain't gonna have nobody say I'm a good coworker, you did a great job. You know, just like, it didn't mean anything. And it was like, from that point to this point, every day I consider and I think of going from those days of, you know, being in the hospital and going through surgery and all of the 16 months prior to that, feeling just horrific every single day, and just all the challenges that came with it outside of the pain. And just like to today, where, you know, it's still not 100%, but hell, I'm here, you know. And now, you know, to be where I'm doing what I want to do in life, you know, like I you know, like, it's legit. Like, I was thinking about that this morning. Like, I legit get up and I go from my bed and I can go to the office and work, or I can get up and get dressed and I'm going into my office to work. I can have lunch with my family. You know, if I want to stay out another 20 minutes, I can stay out another 20 minutes for lunch if that's what I want to do. If I don't want to take a lunch and I want to stop early or earlier than maybe I would today, I can do that. You know, all these things. And it's like, how much we take time for granted, that it's not until you almost are out of time that it even kind of matters. And so, like, even though I've landed like some pretty big clients, and I'm like super grateful for that, because that's straight up 1,000% a God thing, I just like, the thing that matters the most is just being able to be here. The significance of living on purpose instead of just living by default. So I'm super grateful for that. So I don't know, let me know what you're grateful for, and I'm gonna call it good there. Drink my coffee while it's still good and hot.